Most people who are mentally strong have no idea that they are. They don't walk around confident and unshakable. They second-guess themselves, feel deeply, and sometimes wonder if they're falling apart. But here's what psychology reveals: that inner experience is actually the strongest signal of all. Mental strength is not the absence of struggle. Psychologists define it as the ability to regulate your thoughts and emotions in service of meaningful action. It doesn't mean you feel less. It means you don't let what you feel become who you are, and that distinction changes everything. Sign 1. You feel your emotions intensely, but you don't become them. Mentally strong people are not emotionally numb. Research in affective neuroscience shows that high emotional sensitivity paired with strong self-regulation is one of the rarest and most powerful combinations in human psychology. The key is something called emotional granularity, the ability to name exactly what you're feeling and why. Studies by psychologist Lisa Feldman Barrett found that people who can precisely identify their emotions experience them more fully, but recover from distress significantly faster than those who cannot. Sign 2. You are comfortable being alone. Not because you don't value connection, but because you don't need external noise to feel okay. Psychologists call this autonomy, a core dimension of psychological well-being. People who can sit with silence without anxiety consistently score higher on resilience measures. This isn't introversion or avoidance. It's the difference between being alone because you're running from something and being alone because you're genuinely at peace. That kind of internal stillness doesn't come easily. Most people spend their whole lives searching for noise to fill it. Sign 3. You don't explain yourself to people who have already decided who you are. Mentally weak people spend enormous energy correcting others' perceptions. Mentally strong people understand something quieter, that your actions over time are the only explanation that ever genuinely lands. This isn't indifference. Psychologists distinguish between healthy disengagement and emotional detachment. Choosing not to defend yourself in low-stakes conflict is a sign of what researchers call secure self-concept, a stable internal sense of who you are that doesn't require constant outside confirmation. Sign 4. You have been broken and you rebuilt, but you didn't make the breaking your identity. Post-traumatic growth is one of the most studied phenomena in resilience psychology. It's the ability to integrate a painful experience without letting it define every relationship and decision that follows. Here's what most people miss. The mentally strong don't pretend the wound wasn't real. They carry it the way you carry a scar, visible and acknowledged, but no longer bleeding. That integration, not the pain itself, is what builds the kind of psychological depth that cannot be manufactured. Sign 5. You can hold two completely opposing ideas in your mind at the same time without it breaking you. Psychologists call this dialectical thinking, the ability to see contradiction without needing to collapse it into a single answer. It is one of the least common cognitive abilities humans. Most people, when they encounter conflict in ideas or relationships or their own values, rush to resolve it. Mentally strong people sit in the tension. They know the most honest answers often live somewhere in between, and they're secure enough to wait there without panic. Sign 6. You protect your energy and you don't apologize for it. Not because you're selfish, but because you understand your attention is finite. Psychologists studying emotional labor found that people who maintain clear energy boundaries consistently report higher relationship satisfaction and significantly lower rates of burnout. There is a difference between withdrawal and discernment. Mentally strong people don't push everyone away. They simply notice when a relationship costs more than it gives, and they act accordingly, quietly, without drama, without needing the other person to understand or agree. Sign 7. You choose your battles, not because you're afraid, but because you understand your energy is currency. Research on cognitive load shows that people who engage in fewer low-stakes conflicts retain significantly more mental clarity for the decisions that genuinely shape their lives. This is the sign most commonly misread as weakness. When a mentally strong person walks away from an argument, people assume they lost. In reality, they calculated that no victory in that moment was worth the cost. That calculation requires far more strength than staying ever would. What unites all 7 of these signs is something researchers call psychological integration. the ability to hold the full complexity of yourself without needing to perform certainty. It's not about having answers. It's about being stable enough to function honestly in the absence.
If you recognized yourself in any of these signs, sit with that. Mental strength is not loud. It shows up in the quiet moments, the conversation you didn't start, the emotion you felt fully and then let go, the version of yourself you protected without needing anyone to see it.
7 signs you are mentally stronger than you think. You feel deeply without being controlled by it. You're at peace alone. You don't over-explain. You've rebuilt without becoming your pain. You hold contradiction. You protect your energy. And you choose which battles are truly worth fighting. Subscribe to Mind Decoded. Every week we break down the psychology of the mind most people never take time to understand.